I did watch qualifying and I watched the race live, which was great. I didn't think I was going to be able to do it.
I actually watched both quali and the race live as well.
So
I will
guess
admit,
what, girlies? We're well informed.
this meeting of the Wheel Girls Club is now in session, where anybody can be a wheel girl. I'm Anne.
I'm Shelly.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm Grace. Let's race. No.
Woo! Let's talk about where were they this week, ladies?
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia. I can never remember the name of this race. Do they call it the Saudi Arabian GP or do they call it?
I
Because
think
where
so.
are
They
they? Which
do, but
city are
it's
they
in
in?
Jeddah.
Jeddah.
Yeah,
Thank
Jeddah.
you. Okay. We're in Jeddah. It's nighttime. Quali? Who watched Quali?
Quali was crazy. So fun.
Grace
I
is
think
raising her hand.
I also really enjoyed it because it was the first time I had watched Quali live in a long time.
Me
And
too.
it feels very special and very fun when like the last lap of Q3 is starting. You genuinely don't know who's getting pole.
You can't skip 10 seconds ahead when it's downtime to get to the next part.
Sometimes I wish I could though.
Yes. I was watching it semi-live while I vintage shopped with friends, and I was
Those
I
are
had
On
the
your
real
phone?
fans.
I had
Yeah.
headphones.
Sure. Sure. That's dedication for
F1 on
sure.
the go. Yes, I was there.
I thought that's why they had F1 TV. Am I not supposed to use it for that? No.
The question is who's gonna start shelling out the big bucks so we can get the multi-screen? Nobody? Nobody?
I don't need
Then
that.
they won't even tell you how much it costs, which makes me very afraid that it's
It's
a
like
number I
it's
can't
like
fathom.
enterprise pricing, you know. Is that the right word?
What does that mean to
When you
you?
like buy when you like buy a software for like a whole company and they're like, the level is so fancy and so complicated, inquire for pricing.
Inquire for pricing.
Yeah. It's like when you go to the gallery and it says inquire for pricing and that that's not for me. It's not for us.
You can't afford that.
You can't afford that. It's a filter.
Typically, what I've done is I have the race on my computer, and if I am really feeling it, I'll do the dash on my phone.
Oh, she's the one who's
Oh.
using up all of the screens. I'm just kidding.
No, we all have equal disbursement, and usually
That's true.
I'm the one to stay up late. If it's a late race, I'll be up late watching it at like 2 or 3 in the morning. So I splurge.
I saw some of the drivers talking about doing the Middle Eastern races and how they kind of enjoyed them. They feel a little bit more like mellow. It's more relaxed for them. And it made me really want to go to a Middle East race.
I know that's been
I,
on your list, Grace.
It's on my
Yeah.
list.
yeah.
Was
Did
it
they say
Bahrain that the
why? Is it
I think
like the
there's
fans
probably
are a little
I think
bit more
there's a lot
chill?
less fans, and I think they're like at fancy hotels.
I don't want to
I
hear
think there's
this.
what?
I don't want to hear how soft the F1 drivers are. They're like, we have a better, I don't
I'm
know,
happy
hotel
for
room,
them.
better suite. I'm like, okay.
Better sweet.
Uh, First, I mean, I know, what's that like one really bougie airline where like
Qatar
first class?
Airlines, Emirates,
Emirates, where they
Emirates.
get like the crazy. I mean, they most of them have PJs, private jets, but like
They don't have
Emirates,
They just rent
No,
them.
yeah.
I think
Max does,
Max,
but most
yeah.
don't.
They're
Does
flying
Hamilton? Max, I
private.
think, is they are flying private,
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
Hamilton must have one.
but he doesn't talk about it. But Max,
Yeah.
you know about it.
Yeah. Anyways, everything's just like bougie, yeah, for the 1% there, props. So I guess it makes sense. Maybe it's their fave. Can't get to them, so
They weren't exclusively, they were just like, oh, when you've been doing like a lot of busy, bigger races, it's a nice, like, mellow moment, especially like a triple header. They were saying, like, coming off of like Japan, Australia, China, that are just like big races. It's nice. These races feel a little more like a little breath.
Hmm.
I cannot fault them for that. I totally get that. Some weeks work is crazy, some weeks it's mellow. But it did make me want to go to a Middle East race.
That YouTuber, was it
Yeah.
to Bahrain that he went to?
hmm
Seems super fun.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
I think I need friends to go with though.
You don't want to go solo?
I'm not really a big solo traveler. I live solo. I don't need to travel solo.
Yeah, that's right.
Fair.
That's right. Okay, Quali, what was the big upset? Lando
Lando.
Lando. Oh
Lando
my
into the
gosh.
wall?
I didn't think that was real.
I mean, I knew it was real, but man, I really felt for him.
the first
Yeah.
crash, Yuki, I mean, that was
That was not in Quali though.
who did it?
That was
That was
It was
in
in free
practice.
practice.
yes.
Okay.
Which not as bad, but yeah, still rough.
Wasn't there a crash at the end of Q1 or something though?
No.
Not that I can remember.
Okay.
I will just say, as soon as I saw Lando crash, I turned to Paul and said, I think Oscar's gonna win. He's gonna get pole, he's gonna win the race, he's gonna be leading the championship after this. And I was
Wow.
It's kind of
pretty
crazy because
close to
this is
right.
his third win, right?
Yeah.
He's people, okay, here's the thing. People
And
aren't
people are still
talking
acting
about
like,
it,
this
but
is
he is dominating.
yeah.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have the
Shelly just
personality.
quietly dancing in the corner.
You can't see me, but I am wearing my Oscar shirt.
Aw.
Yes. I love it here.
I think he doesn't have the personality. He doesn't have like a cult favorite personality where people are like, he's a wunderkind, like he's this crazy, amazing,
The
whatever.
Wonderkin.
Like the commentators even don't have the same obsession with him. There's not
No.
the same like mythos around him.
Although there
But he
should
is
be, like, he's
outperforming
only
every other
been in
driver.
how long has he been in Formula One? This is his third year?
I think
Yeah.
so.
That's so crazy.
And he's just
Yeah.
like quietly going about winning.
Yeah.
They
We
just know
love to see
him
it.
I know.
as Mark Webber's protege. And I'm like, okay, just leave this Mark Webber thing
They
Yeah.
cut to Mark Webber during the podium, showing him
Mhm.
filming him
Like,
on the
he's a
podium.
happy dad, yes.
The
At
man
least
from
Mark Webber is
Melbourne.
not out there racing him.
It'd be a different
Okay,
story.
let's not talk
Wait, no,
about it
no,
yet.
let's
Okay.
not get there. Quali. Anything else to
It was a
note,
good
Sarah?
qualifying.
It was.
Very exciting. The McLarens were super quick. Max pulled something sort of magical out because where did Yuki end up? Like P9 after Lando
9.
crashed? 8 or 9? Oh yeah, because wasn't
It was
Alex?
8.
It was Carlos in there?
Carlos was
sixth.
sixth.
And Hamilton was 7th.
Yes.
And Yuki was somewhere.
Yuki
Yuki was
was
8th.
around.
Was Pierre there too, though? Because Yuki
Or
was
was
8th.
Pierre-
Pierre
Was
was
Pierre
9th.
8th and Yuki was 9th?
Is this bad audio?
We don't know, Wheel.
And someone was 10th.
It would just
Just kidding.
be us pulling up a list and calling it out, but we do not have the
We're not gonna do that.
time.
We don't
We're gonna have
care.
My hottest take is that Hamilton qualified behind Sainz.
Yeah, I mean, Williams
devastation.
had things where like everything was coming up for
Yeah.
old
But also that track like really
games.
suits them because it's just like fast, straight line.
I mean, it has like 27 corners.
Yeah, it's got lots of little tight turns.
Oh, girls, we
Right. It's all straight
get it
lines
together.
and tight turns, and that's why it's good for them.
No, I'm just sorry. I'm trying to think. The last few years, I don't think Jeddah has been a particularly good track for Williams, which I feel like is a good sign for Williams, Grace, that they had such a good weekend, that they're going to continue to have good weekends at more tracks.
Let's certainly hope
Maybe.
so. Let's hope so. They're doing
Let's hope
great.
so.
I would love to
Dude,
see them stay
they
where
did
they
such good
are.
teamwork today. Okay, I won't talk about the race.
Any other quali drama? It was exciting, but it was pretty straightforward.
It was a good quali.
It was great.
Yeah.
I cannot believe
Well,
Max got full.
it was by what the one. It was
1/100th of a second.
that
Okay.
was rough. As an Oscar girl, you were like,
Because
I hate
Oscar was right
Max.
there. And then Max. I'm
The
gonna
points come
I'm
on
gonna say
Sunday,
this
Shelley.
again. I'm gonna say this again. I think the cars that go last have an advantage.
They
I love
do.
Sarah's like
Whoa.
hot take. The
No, I'm
last
saying
cars are
you want to
fast.
be the absolute last car over the line because the
Yes.
dramatic momentum is with you to get pole position.
I want to say
It's
this
because
though.
that's when the track
Max
is at
was
its
not the
best.
last car over the line.
Don't say that. What? Yeah, he was.
No,
No,
he
he
wasn't.
Ugh, I hate
He
it
was
here.
after Oscar, which was important for him. But a lot of the people, like I think Hamilton, Sainz, Yuki, they were all
Okay.
filling in after him. They just didn't show it on TV. The broadcast is so bad. Julianne Palmer complaining.
Yeah.
Like
Because
someone just
Alex went out
crashed, but we're not
early.
showing that right now.
Alex went out early. He was the only car on track. You could just see his little
Yeah.
dot going around. And Julian Palmer's like, Alex is out there all by himself. He's
He's
doing a
out
great
there.
lap, but we can't see it.
Get that person fired. Fire that robot. Whoever
Okay,
it
I
is.
have one more hot take on quali before we move on.
Okay.
My prediction is that Max this year is going to be like Charles 2 years ago, where Max is
I
going to
love it.
get pole at a decent amount of races, but then one of the McLarens is always going to beat him in the race.
Because he doesn't have the pace.
And that's fair.
He doesn't have the pace. Yeah. Interesting because switching to the race, I feel like Charles seems to maybe have sort of the
He
opposite
has
thing
the
going
race
on
pace.
this year. He does
Mhm.
have the race pace. He had a great race today.
Mhm.
I was going to vote for him for driver of the day, but here's my formal complaint to F1.com. Your
Driver of the
website
day
sucks.
sucks.
It does not work on mobile. So that's a note. Please work on
Works
that.
badly.
It works
Yeah.
badly. And also the fantasy app sucks too.
Also, the Williams app is very bad.
I think that F1 as a whole, as a culture, maybe they need more
They have an
emphasis
old
on,
man vibe.
yeah, they need more young web designers or something.
Well,
Probably
Okay,
especially
you
young.
think
why do they
F1 is
have all these
bad?
sponsors that are like web sponsors, and then you're like, your websites are terrible.
You should go look at the
I
IndyCar
think they're
website. It
like
is unintelligible.
technology sponsors. They're like software sponsors. They're not web sponsors. You know what other website
Are they not the same? Are they
sucks?
not linked?
Salesforce is the worst.
I know.
They're a sponsor.
Like Kick, that's like mobile gambling. You think you could make like a functional
Wow.
website. You know, a lot of them are sponsored by like crypto's on the
She's
internet.
You guys,
Stop.
the one that we
It's
should be
in the
talking about is
name.
Chrome. Google Chrome sponsors McLaren. They are
They are
probably
when
the
you
most
when you
like
type in website, that is
curated.
what pops up.
Their whole thing is Chrome, and
Is
I would
that
say
actually
they're
the issue that they can't work with Google? None of the other companies.
That's interesting.
Conspiracy, yes.
That is
Conspiracy.
interesting. Well, okay. Back to the race. An exciting first lap.
Mm-hmm.
I have
Not,
to ask,
yeah.
so coming to this race, Carlos had a penalty? Question mark? No?
Why?
No.
What happened? Something
Oh,
He
happened.
had
I
actually
missed it.
served the penalty.
none of us
Okay.
knew. Did he have to just sit there and they held his car and then he didn't go out for another lap? What happened?
He
I
may
don't know,
have
but I
had to go out for
saw.
another lap, but it was in the midst of all of the transponder issues. So
Is that
nobody
what it
really knew what was
was?
going on.
Okay, because I saw something online about the Carlos girls were like, he served that penalty. How dare you? And then there was I didn't
Stop.
hear anything about it this week, so maybe
You heard it from Grace. Okay,
they
yeah,
scared the
because
stewards.
I was like, I thought I had seen more penalties coming into the race, and I'm like, I don't see anything being
They were like, everyone
served.
gets a clean slate because of the transponders.
Okay.
That
No,
doesn't
Yeah,
I
sound
made that
like them.
up.
fake news. Well, there was that one comment. I guess it was about the track in the race where Max, they were like, Max, you might get a point off. I don't know, something for like a line, a white line. And he's like, the FIA steward said it was fine.
Said
And
it was fine in the
Yes,
briefing.
in the
Loved it.
briefing.
yeah, and they're like, whatever said in the briefing goes. And I was like,
They're like, the
okay,
briefing
Julian,
is law,
law.
actually.
I'm like,
Okay, Shelly, have you
okay.
ever watched the old briefings that they used to televise?
I've only seen a few clips, and I'm so sad I was not around when they were happening.
I'm glad that I guess they had to stop showing them because drivers were getting bullied. But
I
yes,
don't like that.
Wasn't it like Grosjean was getting bullied
Grosjean
because
was
he had
getting
always the one who
bullied.
would bring up complaints?
I have to find the clips because they're
Cyberbullies.
kind of funny. Okay, I'm a bully. 'Cause I find it entertaining. Yeah, the boys are whining. They have like a pet. I've seen like they have papers with them, and I'm like, say your
Yeah.
piece.
Well,
This is
there
court.
were, I think the bullying came in the context of people were being like, some of the midfield drivers were kind of like backdooring complaints for top team drivers. And that's why Grosjean was getting bullied.
Leave my man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. Do you guys know when the driver briefing is in the sequence of the weekend?
I think it's before the race.
Thursdays.
But
I
media
after.
feel like
day.
it would probably be on Thursdays before they do
Media
any
day.
practice or
Yeah.
quali or
Oh,
the
no,
Oh,
no,
race.
you
no. I
don't?
do think
It
they
would be
practice because
after
I think they
their.
talk about the track and their concerns and like, will
That's kind
this
of what I was
count? Will this
thinking.
not count? Because they're talking
Maybe
about like where the
Maybe.
before
lines are.
quali.
And
Maybe it's like Saturday morning before
let's all
free
guess when we
practice
think the
3.
best time would have been.
I'll say it at the same time, talking over each other. Let's go.
3, 2, 1.
I feel like it is definitely possible they could be on Thursdays and the drivers just are like bringing up things from previous weeks or previous years and they know the track well enough. But it could be Saturday morning or something like that. I don't know.
No way to know. There's no way to
There's
know.
no way to know.
um yeah, so I feel like this race was awesome. I feel
No
like Oscar
complaints.
is just shining and people are truly getting to see what he can do. And that is overtakes, that is just like being really aggressive. And honestly, I am for like an Oscar Max fight because I kind of feel
Yes.
like,
What did you think about that first corner move?
oh yeah, I was like, this is classic Oscar. This is Oscar. I know. I honestly feel this is all me. I'm like, he was angry doing his home race, like everything that played down, and he's carrying that vengeance to every race, being like, I'm going to win every single race. And
He's realized he
yeah,
does better when he drives angry.
I think he's just like got a little bit more aggressive, and he's got a good car this year, even though like,
Not like last year.
well, I will say like Lando's still like people were saying like Lando was the quicker McLaren this weekend, which I think they kind of flip flop, but I still think,
That's a crazy thing to say
I
when
don't know.
Oscar won the race.
Yeah, I
Well, I
know
think he was
that's,
quicker in free practice and he was looking very quick in qualifying, but I agree.
isn't that
I think
interesting,
there's like a
Sarah?
crazy
It
cult
is. It is
around
wild.
That was from
Norris.
our Julian Palmer. Like they were like, like, what is it? Almost the end of the race. And they're like, Lando's the quickest McLaren. And I'm like, what's happening? And then even the McLaren team was like, this is what Lando's trying to do. He's trying to, when this was, Lando was in P1, right? He hadn't gone in to get his tires.
Yeah.
And they were like, Lando's trying to create a gap for, you know,
A
himself
vortex.
for his race. And they're Oscar's like, well, I'm also trying to do well for my own race for P1.
Yeah, Oscar
Can
was like,
he
some
pit?
clean air would
Because
be
I
great.
need clean air. And that to me is like classic McLaren. Honestly, I'm like, what's new?
To their credit, they pitted
got it right.
Lando
They
the
got
next
it right.
lap.
They got him right
That
for
was
the
probably
5
like
second.
5 laps later.
Yeah, I think they're like,
I
Oscar's
guess
maybe
that's true.
right.
They do
Let's
a
get
delay on
Lando
those
in.
messages.
Yeah.
So, but I'm
Okay.
glad to see him on top.
I will say I was really happy with the result of the race, but the call and the penalty for the first corner, I was like,
You didn't
feels
agree.
totally arbitrary. I'm like,
Oh,
obviously I'm happy with the result, but if it had been my
Oh, you
driver,
can't go
the
completely
roles had
off the
been
track.
reversed, I could have seen myself being like, no, that's a crazy penalty. It's the first corner. I don't know.
Yeah, but I think either way, like
No,
Max
you
should have
can't go
given
that
the
fast.
place
I'm
back.
speaking my
If Max
truth.
wanted to do that, he knew he needed to give the place back. He didn't, so
yeah,
he has to serve a
it
penalty.
was
Well,
yeah,
either
and he
that's
had the chance
true.
to give the place back, and then he would have been able to try and the right way
Actually, yeah.
pass Oscar again. Which
yes.
Paul was saying that the one criticism he had is that Oscar really didn't leave any room for Max to
But
stay
Oscar
on track.
had the racing
But he had the
line.
corner. It was his corner
Yeah.
because he was ahead at the apex.
And we know
I
about racing
agree.
now. No.
Moving under braking. We learned about that today too.
That is kind of a wild rule that I don't think I realized was a thing in F1 for quite a while. And then when you see someone do it blatantly, you're like, oh, no, of course you can't do that. It's
Yeah,
not bumper cars.
totally. That was really wild to
Like
watch. I was like,
swerving in front of each other.
yeah, poor Fernando.
Like you picked your line, you got to stay on the line and see if it plays out for you.
It is interesting because it's like very just like human
Yeah. You're
input.
like, well,
It's
how
like
else would you pass someone?
there's
Well, but it's only for defensive driving.
What?
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's only for defensive driving.
Yeah. You're not allowed to defensively drive, essentially. You can, but it
Yeah.
has to be within a very narrow set of rules.
Yeah. Did you guys enjoy the DRS chicken today?
Yes,
What?
I did. With Hamilton and Norris
Yeah.
and everyone.
That was fun. I don't know what he was trying to do, but I was there for it. I'm
Shelly,
like,
in a much more real sense, did not know what was going on, but I didn't like it.
I was like, sure, why not? Let's do this.
What was he trying to do? I totally missed this.
So basically,
The
when two
DRS
cars
is
were
so
getting
strong.
close, the DRS is so strong that the person who is in front, if they know that they're likely to be passed soon, wants the other car to get in front of them before the DRS detection zone. So then they get DRS, and then they can just pass them back and get ahead further using DRS.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Okay.
Yeah,
I
so
did
at one
pick up
They're
point,
on
like
this.
slowing
Hamilton
down
let Norris pass, and then Hamilton had DRS.
to pass Norris again.
Tricky, tricky. This is what
Mhm.
happens when you get smart drivers. Bring back the dumb drivers.
Okay. And then the other DRS of the race was definitely the Williams.
The
Yeah.
train,
The
the conga
I'm
line.
not gonna. Yeah, that's better. Why don't they call it that?
Yeah. Let's make a petition.
It was exciting. I was nervous. Even the
I was
last
nervous.
lap, Isaac
Yeah.
Hadjar was gunning to make him.
Yeah. And
Which I love
Carlos
to
was like,
see.
I gotta go now, you guys. I did it like 14 laps. Last lap. I'm leaving.
Yeah, Alex did lose DRS.
And then they just had to race each other.
Yeah, but he held on. It was great. Great result for Williams. I think
Great
they're
result.
still
Mhm.
5th in the constructors,
And
which
also
is
still a great
And-
race for Isaac.
I think Albon's
Uh-huh.
still like way up there in the drivers.
I think he's like 5th or
Yeah,
6th,
sixth.
which is
What?
crazy.
Yes,
Yeah. It's unhinged, and we love to see it.
we love it.
Hold on a little longer, Alex.
I voted, okay, my vote for driver of the day, should we all disclose?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
voted for Isaac Hadjar. I was really excited for Williams, but I was also like, I think he's had a great race. Also, maybe he'll get a little bit of the driver of the day curse, and it'll all slip away after I cast my vote. I'm joking.
I voted for Oscar.
I would have voted for Oscar.
Yeah,
Yep.
classic. I would have voted for, I think I was gonna vote for Lando, which is
He
like
had a really good race.
he had a great race. I feel like he wins a lot, so I don't usually vote for him. But honestly, to go from P10 to P4, beautiful. It was great. Great
It's a
race.
great race.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And who won? Max
Max
Verstappen won
Verstappen.
driver of the day.
Bum, bum, bum,
For
bum.
going from starting on pole and getting P2.
So wild.
I have no comment. I truly, I think, well, one driver of the day is insane. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on.
Sarah's
But-
like, it's totally rigged.
It's rigged.
complete-
Somebody
It
recount
really
the
feels
votes.
rigged.
It's like they're pulling a name out of a hat, you guys.
Maybe we're just not
from
on the right
top
Reddit
10
forums.
drivers.
Maybe we're not on the right Reddit forums where people are coming up with, we're all voting for this person this week.
I
You think it's
think
happening on Reddit now, or is it happening on like TikTok
I
or
have no idea.
I don't know.
what's the
I
Chinese version
really
of TikTok?
think read something.
Read something.
I think
Okay.
it was
Good.
the disgruntled Max fans who thought that the ruling should have gone in his favor and that he should have won the race, and that's why he got driver of the
Maybe.
day.
But also, yeah, I mean, like Max's ego did him in. He should have just given the place back.
Yeah,
No
he
one's
probably would have
saying
won
it.
the race
Mhm.
because Oscar couldn't pass him until he did that penalty. Let's be
Mhm.
seriously, he was extending his
Mhm.
lead.
Well, then how would Max's
No.
car was not as fast as Oscar's, so I don't know
Oh
that Max
my
would have been able
gosh,
to
the
pass him
Red
back.
Bull fans have so much delusion.
Okay, did you look at
Oh,
the
the
gap
Red
that
Bull's not
that
fast enough.
Oscar was
It's-
able to pull compared to the gap that Max was able to pull when he was in free air?
Max was
kidding?
like
No, they were
4
very
seconds
close to each other
ahead.
at the end.
Oscar was like 7 seconds up the road.
Yeah,
No,
but he was in the lead for like 20 laps.
No, because I truly think
Shelly just watched the race. Tell us,
Okay,
Shelly.
sorry.
Yeah,
It's
let's hear
it's
it.
okay. It
No.
was 2.83 seconds.
that's what
That
I
was my
thought.
bad.
so. I
Sorry.
truly think what happened at the beginning was after that first corner,
Mhm.
Oscar knew possibly there was something coming down the line, and so he's like, "I'm just gonna chill here."
I'm biding my time.
That's
And
interesting.
so that's I'm like, I feel like he could catch up to Max, but they also knew maybe something was coming down the road. And then towards the end, there was some like DRS train stuff. So
He got stuck
That-
behind Stroll.
yeah,
Yes, he
he's
did.
pissed at Stroll. So I think that played a bit into it, but honestly, I mean, it was close.
Because
You're right.
the gap was up to like 6 seconds at
It
some
was
point.
staying that like that way for a bit until he kind of got in the loop of
The
Doohan and everyone in
passing
the
traffic.
back.
Yeah.
But
Um,
either way, it was that's not like a max is 20 seconds up the road. This is the part that I
no.
have a
No.
problem with is people are acting like, oh, the McLaren's it's not dominant. It's faster than the other cars right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it can be beat. So to act
Yeah.
like, oh, he no. I
This
think
is not
Oscar drove a really good
2023
race.
Red Bull.
Yeah.
That's what we're
Yeah,
saying.
I
I'm
would
just
agree with that.
tired of people acting like, oh, it's amazing that Max got second when he started from pole and he has a perfectly functional car.
No,
Like
I
it
don't
did
think
what it
it.
was supposed to do.
I agree that it was
Barely.
like Max drove well, but it was not like the race of the century.
Uh,
It wasn't even the race of the week.
Yeah, I agree.
Sorry, Max. I love you, Max. Oh, his interview at the end with
he was
GC,
not
that was
happy.
intense. That was intense.
Yeah.
Sarah at first was like, wow, he's being so mature. And then she goes, oh no, he's not.
Because
He's
when he
over
started
it.
out, I didn't catch what he said. And then he was like, he didn't really answer the question. And he was just like, I just want to say, like, thank you to the fans and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, look at him, like, being classy, not making beef out of this. And then he was like, bye.
And Charles is like, oh, it's my turn. Hopped off his little box and ran over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Charles.
I'm fear for Hamilton right now, you guys. I have
Oh,
some
yeah, it's
fear for
bad.
him.
It's bad.
It's not good.
It's not
It's
good.
not good.
This
It's
is race number
giving.
what? 5?
It's
Uh-huh.
not horrible. I'm just like,
No.
No.
it's
They're
It's
not
just,
going
not
to
Daniel
fire him.
McLaren.
no. It's just
No.
a bit hard to watch. Like, and maybe I should be giving him more time, but I think I just feel like, oh, it would feel so hard to watch like the Mercedes being
If
good.
the Mercedes keeps getting better.
Yeah.
And even knowing that, like, I mean, the reality is obviously the car is different every year, but like Charles has been with that team for what, 7 years?
He's El Predestino.
Yeah. But it's like he understands like the Ferrari like way. And so like I think it must feel like, oh, it's a little easier for him to come to grips with things. And
Hmm.
that seems very hard. On Team Torque this week as well.
Yes.
They were talking about what's something that the is a miss, like what's something you would debunk for fans or like people who watch F1. And Carlos was saying like how much like how close all of them are for like driving skills and how much actually the thing that makes you like a race winner or like doing well is just your ability to adapt to the car's driving style, because if you're lucky and you adapt well, you're amazing. And he wasn't even saying like some people are better at adapting. He was like, sometimes you just get a car that you can't adapt to, or sometimes you're in a car that you just feel really at one with, and it gives you all the confidence to make all these moves.
Hmm.
And he was like, fans can be so harsh about and people's career. Then him and Alex were both like, yeah, that's how people's careers get ruined because you can't adapt
Mm.
to a car.
Hmm.
I'm not saying that's what's happening to Hamilton yet. I'm just saying, like, wouldn't that be tickling the back of your brain? Like, oh, I've been
Yeah.
in this team for like a decade where I was pretty much the top driver. I really understood the way we made our car. It was, in some sense, like as adaptable as it could be to me, and then to come into something new and like that seems like that would be really, really mentally tough. I'll get off my soapbox now.
Yeah, totally. I feel
And
like
he's an old man. No.
it's kind of a little like the hope is that you drop in and then actually, it kind of reminds me of like Seb a little bit because the hope is
Hmm.
you're a champion winning driver. You hope to drop into a championship winning team and start winning championships. And that's not really how it always goes because you
Mhm.
don't know always, you don't know what you're going to get when you
And
drop into a new team.
like that's Ferrari's MO is
A little
like
bit.
everyone goes there after being a championship winning driver.
And then they
They
stop
drop
winning.
in and it like eats them up. It's like, okay, who's the last Ferrari driver who won a championship?
Kimi Räikkönen.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And he just like is his own thing. I think the
The
rules do not
Iceman.
apply to Kimi Räikkönen. But
Yeah. And
like,
before that, I feel like it was Michael Schumacher, and they were like
yeah.
really super dominant.
And but think about the number of winning like world champions who went to Ferrari and did not
Got
succeed.
washed up to
Like
shore.
Fernando, Seb,
That's
Hamilton.
Too
two.
much heartbreak. Stop. Stop.
It's been
Stop.
5 races, Grace.
No, I know Hamilton could really pull it out, but it's like, wow, it's a project to undertake.
Yeah.
And he is an old man. And he
Okay,
has other things going on. He's a co-chair at the Met Gala in like 2 weeks.
Okay, speaking of
let's talk about like
Hamilton,
how do they have time to do that?
I know.
He's not in school. He has time.
He's not in school.
Speaking of Hamilton being older, the like age breakdown of the grid, we haven't talked about this year, but it's so funny because there's Hamilton and Alonso and like Nico Hulkenberg, who are all on the much older side.
Nico Hulkenberg and I are like the same age, so let's not say he's that old.
Don't out him. Don't out yourself.
But then everybody else is like 30 or younger, and mostly in the like 25 or younger. Because so many of the kind of like middle age range drivers didn't get seats and have been replaced by
That's the
very
other
young.
interesting thing they talked about on Team Torque this week was
Really? I've not watched
the
Team Torque yet.
You gotta just watch
trend
Team Torque. Don't watch
of
this
rookies.
podcast. No. Yeah, talk about it, Sarah. Speak to it.
Yeah, like every few years it becomes the trend to like get a rookie driver versus like the last few years it's really been the trend to like get an experienced driver or keep
Mhm.
your driver lineup. And then there's this big wave this year of rookies and they're like just every few years all the team principals are like we need new blood. It's interesting,
Sarah
it
and
makes sense.
Sarah and I were watching the race together today, and we were talking about how I feel like Williams having two really strong drivers is really serving them right now. I feel like it is very like,
I think it really serves a midfield team in the way that it doesn't always serve a top team.
Mhm.
Top team, you really gotta like have your priorities straight. I don't know what McLaren's about to do. I hope it works out for them.
yeah.
But I do
I
think
was gonna
sometimes it
say,
gets really weird. But for a midfield team, you just I we were talking about Kevin Magnussen and Nico Hulkenberg at Haas
yeah.
last year. The team did so well because I feel like the two drivers like really pushed each other.
And they push the team instead of like
Mhm.
Hmm.
spending a lot of time like getting someone like not that that's a bad thing, but it's like it does seem like there's a lot of work that maybe the more experienced driver ends up doing to like bring in the newer driver, and then maybe that takes away from like the development of the team in the car. I do think Mercedes is doing this very well at a top team.
Mm.
I was really hating on Toto Wolff, and
Kimmy's
I
been
was
keeping
wrong.
up.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
keeps up, and it seems like it serves him well that George is like there with him to
Hmm.
support him.
Did you
I
guys
d-
see his space jacket? It was so cute.
Um, I feel like the way that McLaren might lose the drivers' championship this year is if Lando and Oscar are just taking points off of each other, and the team doesn't make a decision to support one or the other. And then if Max or somebody else like George is winning enough other races.
This feels baseless. They're not taking points off of each other
Okay, here's
I'm
my
but
hot
at some
take.
point they will be. And
by
like
crashing each
the
other. How
She's
does
saying
that
like
work?
you have to pick one driver
You have to
and
pick
make them
one.
the one. I disagree with Anne. This is a false dichotomy. I think that Oscar Piastri is the next Lewis Hamilton,
Oh,
The
but
next
only for
Sebastian
racing.
Vettel. The next
What do you
Sebastian Vettel.
mean? Wait, only for racing? What do you
Well, I don't think he's
mean?
going to be a fashion icon or like
Oh,
he's not going to change like
The
he's
world?
he's
not
not going
going
to
to
be the next Max? I'm confused why
he's
you
not
picked
going to be the
Lewis.
first black world
Are you
champion. Like,
are you trying to
sorry.
say that Oscar's going to be
I
the
think he's
next multi-champion, or like I'm surprised you just skipped over Max. I don't know.
No, Max is gone. Like Max's era, Max is actually the Seb.
So
Max
you're
is
thinking, oh,
Seb.
he's
Oh, you
ushering it
mean
because
into a
like
Max won
I
dominant
four
think
in a row.
Oscar is about to
context.
usher in this era of like long-term dominance.
He has risen.
So you're
Okay,
gonna get
Grace, here's the
sick of
question.
him, Shelley.
Grace, if Max is a new Seb, does he go to Ferrari or where does he go when
I
Red
do
Bull
think
falls
he ends
apart?
up going to
Just send him to
Ferrari.
Aston.
Oscar's gonna go to Ferrari?
No,
No,
2030
Max.
prediction.
Max
Oh.
is gonna go to Ferrari.
But then Oscar's gonna go to Ferrari
Then
eventually.
Oscar goes to
Red Bull.
Red Bull and he completely revamps the team. Like Christian's out, everyone toxic is out. Helmut Marko has passed
He's
away.
Jesus
R.I.P.
overturning the tables.
Yes, yes. He comes in. Mark Webber's the new team principal.
Whoa,
That's actually such a
that's
good
been
Deb is
idea.
Mark's
back.
plan the whole time. Get me in Christian's spot. Oh my gosh. He
And
cracked
from
the
there,
code.
They go on to like a decade of Red Bull dominance, like Red Bull has been wishing for,
And they
but
also
has not
fire
yet
Helmut
achieved.
Marko.
Helmut's dead. That's what I said earlier on. I said R.I.P. What else am I supposed to say?
I missed that.
And that is the match that strikes the
Amen.
change.
Yes. That would be.
Okay.
That would be exciting.
And I think
Put it in the
actually
record
Alex
books.
comes back to Red Bull when that happens.
Number 2
Like
driver.
when the whole revamp happens.
No, there's going to be a new rookie, female driver. I'm putting it in our minds. There was an F1 Academy race this weekend as well. I didn't
Everyone's
watch
like,
it.
Go
"Who
off.
watched
Okay,
it?"
don't do that. If you didn't watch,
Sarah.
don't bring it up. We're gonna cut this out.
Please.
We should be watching them. We're hypocrites.
We should be.
I
I'm
will buy
pulling
into
to Red Bull 2035.
Okay, there it is.
Love it.
Yeah, I think this weekend I just found like, okay, yeah, I have a new enemy every week. Whoever is coming after Oscar is my enemy. So I was like, this is getting a bit volatile. So it's interesting at the top. That's what I'm going to say.
Stop. I love Shelly's like when you're in the mid, like when you're
When your
second, it's
driver
very
is
difficult.
number
When you're the
one.
best, it's very difficult. It's really hard to drive from the front of the field.
When you are involved with a driver, it is very difficult.
You girls don't get it in the midfield, but here in the top, it's hard.
I think Grace was kind of getting it the previous few years. I will
she
just
was.
say.
So what about
Yeah.
a Checo fan?
Oh.
We just bury those
yep.
down. It's my turn.
I'm
And
just
what about a
excited.
Danny fan?
I feel that Shelly will turn, and here's my other prediction. Shelly will turn on Oscar once his dominance becomes extensive. She will say, "No, I was never an Oscar." She will deny him 3 times.
And he will still save me.
Okay, my last thing about this race, Sarah and I are watching it, and I just had this really strong sensation that like Charles was going to put it in the wall in like the last 20 laps. And you know what? I think he also had that feeling and he said, no, not today. And he made it. So that didn't happen. But he just had that energy about him. It was like a little bit manic where I was like, I fear.
In the car?
Yeah.
Just by
You could see
looking
his
at him from
squirrely
the
behind.
camera.
I could see his aura and it was getting all wiggly.
It's
Wait,
a highly
okay.
skilled move to
Sometimes,
read an aura
honestly,
through the TV.
I feel great. Sometimes I'm like, something's gonna happen to this driver. He's acting weird, and it
Mhm.
happens.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the Fernando Bortoleto crash, almost crash, was very close, and I enjoyed the little comment of like, Fernando's gonna upcharge Bertoletto 5% up for that one. And I just like kind of love that little lore that's happening. You're driving against your manager. Is that
They had a
insane?
conversation on the plane. I'm just gonna say.
They said he didn't have a
I-
seat. Oscar said he wouldn't have a seat going back home.
I do need to see Pierre and Yuki like
Yuki,
hug at the next
hug
race.
it out. Yeah.
Just to
Oh, I don't think there was
put a
any
bow
bad
on that
blood.
situation.
I feel
Oh,
like
I
they're
don't
gonna
think so
be
either.
they're gonna
No.
be on the plane to the next destination together, scrapbooking
Miami.
pictures, cutting out pictures of their little cars crashing, going, ah, BFFs.
I
Stop.
totally didn't realize it's Pierre and Yuki.
Oh my
Like I didn't
gosh.
make that connection in my brain of
Yes,
like
it
the
was
former
literally the
teammates
first
and best
half of the race.
friends.
I was like, oh my gosh,
It
this
was
just gonna give me, it made me
Shakespearean.
feel so sad.
Yeah.
I mean, Yuki's on my team too, so that made me sad as well.
I felt like it's like maybe Yuki was relieved. He was just like, I won't
You think
get
he
the
was
yelling.
relieved?
I don't know. I just feel like that seat is just so much pressure, and
He still has to drive in it next week.
he
It's
still has to
worse
I
drive
feel
to
like he
in.
wants to
crash.
prove himself.
He wants to, but I also was like, he was pretty like far back. I felt like, and so he's like, let's just start over for next week.
Shelly?
That's just my aura
Shelley?
reading.
Wasn't this his
felt
first time getting into Q3? I feel like he was doing pretty
Oh.
well.
I just maybe I'm not seeing like the really crazy mad Yuki anymore. So
Mm.
I'm
I
like,
think
is he
that's
chill
maybe a
about
good
this?
thing. I don't think he's chill about it. I think he knows he needs to be focused about
Yeah, I think he's
his.
growing up.
He's growing up. He's like 30.
Is he? He's not
I don't
30.
know.
He's like
I think he's
My
25.
27.
He's younger than you.
Okay, no more of this
And
age stuff.
what am
No
I
more.
having temper tantrums?
Uh,
I do want to speak on Yuki in the dark blue because
like
the
it?
girls are losing it for Yuki in the dark
As they
blue.
should. He
It's
looks
fun
good.
to see.
So
I
good.
love it. Yeah. He's
And it's
having a
like,
moment.
that's a short king.
That is a short
Yes.
king. Amen and amen.
Stop.
Anything
Okay.
else? Does anybody know where the next race is?
Miami.
Oh, really?
Welcome to
America.
Miami.
In 2
Okay, let me
weeks.
make some brunch plans so
I
I
thought
can
this was a
watch
triple
it
header.
live.
This was the end of the triple header, Grace.
Oh.
Yeah, this is the
She's
third
like,
one.
this is the first of three.
I thought we were in the second of three, to be honest with you, but I'm excited we made it through.
We did. A lot of
Miami is on
races.
Sunday,
Miami.
right? In 2 weeks.
Yeah, it'd be Sunday afternoon.
Okay. I
Oh,
think that works for my schedule.
I won't be able to watch.
She has a class.
Bummer.
Gotta work.
Oh, I have a concert.
No, I'm doing a 24 on Saturday
Look forward to
before.
the podcast on Thursday or Friday.
No.
No. We're gonna be good. We're gonna be good.
All right,
Predictions for Miami wins?
Oscar.
Oscar.
Okay. I think Lando, because he won it last year, it would be cute. Shelly?
This is so weird. Everyone's saying Oscar because I'm the one who said
Charlie's
Oscar.
like, no, no, no.
You guys can't
Yeah,
be like me.
I guess Oscar all the way.
Okay. I'll say it too. The official prediction, Oscar.
Okay, who's getting 10th?
Oh, P10.
Yuki.
Um,
I'm
Pierre.
just
I was gonna say Pierre.
No, you can't. No, you can have Pierre. You can have Pierre,
You
and
can't.
I'll
No,
say
okay. You can keep Pierre. I will say Esteban Ocon.
Mm.
oh, that's good.
The Haas was not that good this weekend.
No, but it has been pretty good.
Mhm.
I want to see Ollie in the points. Ollie Behrman. Yes.
Nice.
Let's go,
Dad's gonna
Ollie.
love that.
Yeah.
Woo.
All right.
Awesome.
This meeting of the Wheel Girls Club is officially adjourned. Thanks for joining us, everybody. And we'll see you in Miami.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.